The NonStop Radio Show.
Non-stop hip-hop.
The hottest underground hip-hop and R&B show on this side of the net.
Moran, MGM, VIP, yeah, level up and get left. Let's go. Hearing all about you, girl. First my love, can't live without you, girl. You're always on my mind. And this one's for you. Take it slow. Yeah, to say the least. I leave the phones turned off like we out of reach. I let that sun hit your skin like we on the beach. The whole time we hold hands like we on the streets. Yeah, we on the street. I even kick down doors for you. Knock down the walls at the mall for you. Hit the jewelry stores, grab it all for you. Any kind of drama, go to war for you. That's right. Look, I'm beast mode. The king's home, the whole throne is like a meat bone. On position down court for the free throw. So when I hit my shot, heads crack like a CeeLo. I was on the Heat show. Hands down, there's no equal. I still like to scroll through your story on your peoples. My shit street rolls. In the hood, I'm like Guido. Still make it dark outside when I let the heat blow. I let the heat blow. Hearing all about you, girl. My love, can't live without you, girl.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar. And I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to tune into tonight's presentation as EJP Entertainment Presents the Artist Spotlight. You already know what it is. We at the point of our show where we are joined by tonight's special guest. But before we do so, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you go follow us on IG at EJP Entertainment to stay up to date with everything related to EJP. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar back in the house rocking with you once again. And I want to say thank you to each of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here again tonight on this platform. And if you haven't done so yet, please make sure you are following us on IG at EJP Entertainment, or you can check out the video content available now on our YouTube channel at EJP Entertainment. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, share the videos, and hit that notification bell to stay updated when we are dropping brand new videos for everyone to check out, watch, and enjoy. Here tonight, folks, we are at the point of our show where we are joined by tonight's special guest, and we are delighted to have this young man coming along and rocking with us here tonight on the show. And with that being said, help me welcome to this platform my man Donz Moran. Yo, Donz, what's good, brother? How's everything?
What's going on? What's going on? This is D Money Moran, Donz Moran. I'm here, baby. MGM.
That's all it is, man. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We do appreciate it. And I just want to give everybody out there right now that's listening to this show, we are having a little bit of what they like to call a nor'easter here in New York, so like we are getting affected by the weather and everything like that. So we have some dropouts, or we have some times where, it doesn't sound too clear on either end. Just understand that, we are dealing with the weather and all that stuff, man. And speaking of the weather, man, how is it up there right now with you and everything?
Well, it's very steep, man. We like about a foot of snow, and they talking about through the night a little more. So it's very inclement. I would say that.
Man, I can only imagine, man. Like down here, we've only been getting like wet snow and rain and stuff like that, man. So, man, if you happen to have to go, if you happen to go out tonight, man, just be safe and all that good stuff. Anybody out there that's dealing with that right now, definitely be safe, man.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'm tucked in the crib, though.
I hear that. That's all it is, man. And with that being said, man, once again, we want to say thank you for joining us here tonight. And we like to give this portion of the show to our artists, the opportunity to, introduce themselves to the audience and all that good stuff, man. So with that said, the floor is all yours, man. Take it away.
All right, I'm Donz Moran, you know. I'm a CEO and executive producer of MGM Entertainment. I've been producing and making records and behind the scenes in the game for over 25 years. I have experiences with TV along with radio. I performed at the Apollo before. I have videos on BET, MTV, The Box, plenty of other independent channels. And right now we're getting back into the game. You know, I got a new release coming out. I got some artists that I'm planning on breaking this summer. So, you know, it's that time, brother.
I hear that, man. 25 years, man. That's a long time in the music industry, especially when when a lot of people don't make it past 5 and everything, man. So congratulations to you on your longevity and all that good stuff, man. But what started your journey? What got you into making music?
Well, I always was a poet, you know, as a kid. I used to write poems, and there was a rap record that was real influential to me. It was the Sucker MC's record by Run DMC. That's one of the records that pretty much, you know, told me that, you know, that was something that I would want to look into and pursue. So at a young age, I was hip hop all the way, pretty much from the time it started. You know, I got into my teens. I started working for a street team out of New York City. I started showing my talent through different showcases and talent shows and word of mouth. And next thing you know, I was in front of super producer Kev Kaz Ravenel from Thugged Out Entertainment. At the time, he was working for Violator. But he put me under the wing, and it was history from there.
Shout out to Violator, man.
Yeah, so Kaz was he was a producer behind the scenes. He did a lot of stuff for Violator, a lot of stuff for Thugged Out, especially with the reggaeton era they was doing back when Nori and them was doing the reggaeton with Nina Sky, Mato, and Jim Star. These are people that I used to go on the road with as well. But I was Kevin Kai's little protege, and he taught me production. He taught me the machinery. He taught me how to do things, you know, behind the scenes, how important the music was, you know, when it came to hip hop and these records and these videos. And so I kind of learned that front and center. And after some time, you know, I got real good at it, and I got back to doing my first love, which was MCing, and I put it both together, you know, like a Kanye West thing.
Okay.
Now, go ahead, I hear you, brother.
No, I was gonna say, like, now let me ask you, like, what have you found more of a joy into doing recently? You know, as far as, you know, your start as an MC, you know, getting into the production field of the industry and now putting it all together. Like, what side do you enjoy more? Is it still the MCing, or do you have a newfound love and passion for producing?
The love with me always been for, you know, the whole art of it, making the record. You know what I'm saying? I'm the person that, you know, I write the music and then I write the song. You know what I mean? And it's almost like in that instance, you know what I mean? I write the music and then I go ahead and write the song. I'll lay the song, I mix the song, I master the song, and it's done. My thing is always been the completeness of a hot record, of a dope record.
You know, and that's what's up, man. You know, you got a lot of people out here, they either good at one or the other. It's very rare nowadays that you have somebody that's good at doing both, man. I kind of aspire to be one of those.
Yeah, and that's why I compared myself to Kanye in that sense. He's a producer and a rapper. You know, Pete Rock is a producer and a rapper. There's not many of us that produce and rap, but when you find that combination, you know, is a force to be reckoned with, because nobody could rip the tracks like, you know, like the producer, the one who made them. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So we know how they're written to be, you know, to be sang on, or we know how the beat is created to be rapped on. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you hear artists, they shuffle around, they get on YouTube, they grab any beat possible, and then they try to make it happen from there to cater to that beat. You know what I mean? When you're in actually creating songs, you know, it's all the same process. You know, it just starts with the beat. You know what I mean? The beat sets the pattern, and then the words. You know what I mean? Normally the beat tells a story if it's good, and that story will come right. The words will come right to you. You know what I mean? If it's laid down right. So, you know, that's what I do. It's a combination.
Absolutely. And, you know, to go off of what you just said and everything like that, I kind of feel like you guys have set a new precedence, because one thing I used to always say is like poets make the best artists and DJs make the best producers. But it's kind of seeming like to me nowadays, when you got the producer and the hip hop artist element of the, you know, the whole equation and everything like that coming together, it's like you guys are creating a whole other standard. Like you mentioned earlier, you got Pete Rock,
and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Kanye West, and then also you got RZA, you know, another one that you know, is an artist, producer, and everything like that. You know, you guys kind of set that precedence for, you know, other guys that are aspiring to do what they do as far as the music is concerned and all that good stuff, man. So, like, being that you have, you know, so much years and experience in the industry, you know, dating back 25 years and up till now, and you've been around long enough to see, you know, the various transitions in the music industry that we know of today. How do you feel about the way, you know, the current industry is flowing right now?
Well, the game has changed. It changed so much that you just can't get in the game with the same mindset that you would have back 25 years ago. You know, back then our videos cost $40,000, $50,000 a watt. Now it's for an inexpensive one. You know what I mean? Now they go shoot the video with the cell phone. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different things that made the game better, and there's a lot of different things that watered the game down. You know what I'm saying? And it twisted it up a little bit. So the game is nothing like it was. Nothing like it was then. So it's a whole different, there's a whole different ball game. So it requires a whole different strategy when it comes to making yourself relevant in this game.
Now,
there's a whole different approach.
Now, out of curiosity, now I don't mean to cut you off, but out of curiosity, you know, you bring up a very interesting point, and it's something that I want to see if we have, you know, the same similarities or the same, you know, thought process when we think about it, when we say, you know, things have kind of gotten watered down in the industry. Like, what would you say actually contributes to that right now?
Well, the thing that waters the game down is there's very little MC involvement in these projects. You know, you got rappers, and rappers just tell rhymes. And a lot of times they tell rhymes that aren't even theirs. They say any kind of rhymes. They just say things, you understand? So MC is different. They give you something with a feel to it, with a story to it, you know what I mean, with some definition to it. And normally it resonates with you, you know, longer than the bubblegum rap that you hear nowadays. You hear the song and almost immediately you forgot, you know, the elements of the song or what it was even about. But, you know, that's the difference between MC and a rap artist. You know, a rap artist, you know, with publishing, you know, the way publishing is now, they get them a stack of papers and tell them to read it. They just go ahead and read it over the beat. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing connecting the artist to the actual song. Like you have male writers, and they're not even that good of writers. They're not MCs, they're rappers, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But they're writing for a majority female MC thing now. You know, so everybody's grabbing a female, somebody with a voice, with a little spunk, and then you got fellas writing their raps for them. So now you got females coming out with these records, and they're totally disconnected with the record themselves because, you know, they didn't even write it. Someone else tried to put that together. So that alongside with people just taking, remixing everything. You know, they take a remix and now they beat them to death. Like, you know, you might hear a remix of a hot song from the 90s, but you'll hear straight chitter chatter all over it. You know what I'm saying? So these kind of things, you know, water the music down. These kind of things create a situation where, you know, there's no more skill in rap, so anybody could do it. So you got these cheese lines of rappers popping up. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And it makes you know, it's like the government producing too much money. It makes the dollar weak.
Inflation,
you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the game. That's right. You watered it down with all these Jack in the Hat rappers, and now nobody wants to really get involved with it. Everybody just thinks everything is like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
So we come in the game, we bring a whole new feel, and the object is to try to introduce that real hip-hop from, you know, the generations of people who really like to follow the artists that represent hip-hop. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people. Our era is the era that represented hip-hop, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. That was some real hip-hop. Mm-hmm. But the people that follow that are these generations, you know what I mean? And I try to stay close, and I try to cater to these generations because they have the best parties. They know what hip hop is, you know what I mean? You know, it's a different feel. So I want to be the new face of that.
I totally agree.
So making original music, original art. You know, I do some remixes once in a while. You know, I do all kind of tracks. I don't just do hip hop. I do R&B. I do pop. I do all kind of tracks. But, you know, but on my own personal projects, I try to give them something that I know is going to be a tough act to follow, along with my artistry. So I try to give them original tracks, original hip hop tracks, just new, but original. It's not sampled from nobody and that kind of thing. You know, when I do my own personal thing. In the past, I put out a lot of remixes. And when they get past 500,000 views, you see these labels coming with their hands out, or they're hollering at Facebook, or they're hollering at, you know, YouTube, and they're telling them, listen, man, that beat got a piece of our song that was remixed 7 times, and then they're contacting you. Is a headache that you really don't want to deal with as a producer. So you just go ahead in the paint and bring your own tracks out.
That's real talk.
Now
right
you got full range of opportunity. Nobody could stop nothing. Nobody could put a cease and desist on nothing. Nobody could send you a letter saying you own nothing. It's all clean. And that's how I like to rock. Or you get your money back.
Absolutely. And I like that, man. And it goes to show that we are thinking along the same lines when it comes down to the oversaturation and the watered downness of the hip hop industry right now. And that's a lot of the same things I be seeing as well. It's like it's become so accessible. It's like it feels like everybody can do it, and it's like you can tell the people that really do care about the art, the craft, the technique behind it, compared to those that's just doing it just because they see everybody else doing it. And to me, it's kind of like, you know, causing a log jam, and it's not allowing people that really have full on talent to get through. It's like people nowadays is looking more so at popularity more so than they are skill and talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what they're saying now. They're saying, yo, you know, popularity sells records more than the talent does. But that's not really true. You know what I'm saying? But this is the mindset that they have the people thinking. So there's people that are jumping in front of a car to become relevant, to create content. You know what I mean? There's people that are dressed anyway. They will say anything. They will pretty much do anything to obtain a level of relevancy, you know, when it comes to that. And that's how you know when it's really not genuine. You know what I'm saying? We come to bring something good to the table, and that's that. You know what I mean? And we're not even coming, you know, begging for nothing. We're not coming with our hand out about nothing. You know what I mean? I'm rich already. I've been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? What I do now is for the love. You know, nobody can offer me nothing to get me to act like these childish kids nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Now, being
everything that, you know.
Go ahead, my fault.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, now being that, you know, you've been in the game for so long and have seen so many different changes and so many different things happen to so many different people, how did you manage yourself to stay grounded and not get all caught up into the whole, you know, limelight and perceived lifestyle of artistry and stuff like that?
Man, let me tell you, man. You know, a lot of times, you know, we couldn't stay away from it. You know what I mean? You're talking to a legend right here. You're talking to somebody that been through so many different things when it comes to the streets and hip hop is concerned. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with somebody that you know, was pretty much there, you know, front and center. And there's a lot of situations that we heard about historically through hip hop. And, you know, it's crazy because I know a lot of the same people, you know, from the same circles, and, you know, it just goes on and on. But we come from a different time. It was a different era. And the will to get up and to survive and to be something extraordinary was a lot stronger than what it is today, because now, even if you get the million streams, you still ain't getting no money. You know what I'm saying? Back then, it was different. Back then, they was giving out money because the labels controlled everything. Now, they got so many ways to not give an artist nothing that they pretty much do it for nothing, you know? And that's just the whole extent of it. You know, they get 10 G's for mainstreams or something. And that's after they pay somebody else to fight for a whole year just to get their money. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different things that came with, you know, the territory, so to speak, when it came to the condition of the state that the game is in now. So you know, if you didn't really have your money or have different things put in place, you know what I mean, for you to get money from back then when the money was good, I mean, that's on you. And there's not many. But luckily, I was somebody that, you know, I came up under some strong people. I was a fast learner, and I learned how to, you know, shut my mouth and pay attention. And I learned fast, you know, and I always been someone to think about my future. So when there was times when the game was no good and it wasn't no good to come out, you know, I didn't, you know. I'm a New York State licensed car dealer. I mean, I own real estate. I own businesses. You know, there was so many different ventures that I involved myself in through the years that, you know, it kind of took the place of the kind of money that we was getting, you know, doing the hip hop thing. And it's crazy because the B100, I made more money off of other things than I ever did off of hip hop. You get what I'm saying? But in your heart, you know who you are. And the people that know who you are, they're going to hold you to it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I run into people, longtime fans that say, yo, look, you can't stop. You can't stop because you're part of this and you're a story that hasn't been spoken. You're a story that people haven't heard. And they think that the stories that they heard are something, you know, of a real, you know, spectacular thing, but you're a story that's never been heard. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they push me in that direction. And personally, I don't care about the attention or the fame. You know, I'm glad to be free and alive. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to this business, it's almost like one and the same. So I deal with it with a seriousness. You know, I come to get the job done and do my part, and that's it. I'm in the cut after that.
I hear that, man. And, you know, I wish a lot of these artists out here nowadays would understand that there's much more to it than just living a lifestyle or, you know, just going and making the song, going to perform it, touring and all that stuff like that. There's a lot of longevity to this in order to be successful. Because like you said, like, you know, from conversations that I've had with other artists that's had, you know, industry experience and has been around long enough to see the different transitions that the industry has made, a lot of people, you know, those that are relevant now, they focus more so on the longevity of things, where you got nowadays these artists out here now, only thing they want is what they perceive to be the bag right away. You know, they want immediate gratification.
Yeah, and they don't have no money. So, you know, a person like that is easy to influence. You know, there's a big thing going on with the South now, where deep in the South, you know, these kids is uneducated but talented. So they grabbing these rappers and assigning them the deals, and along with the deals are these big insurance policies. And this is how the labels are making their money. These kids are dying left and right, and the labels are collecting. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's different ways people do what they do. But when you look at, you know, what's really happening and the effect of them just grabbing people that don't know what they're doing, people that are illiterate, that just want $1, that are say and do anything. They see the boys in Chicago dug up somebody's grave and took the gravestone to their street and made a video about the dude. This is what they do now. They kill a person and talk about him while he's dead, you know? But all of this savage kind of thing comes with dealing with, you know, individuals that don't have no knowledge of self at all. There was no hand training, you know, there was nothing done to school these individuals. And being that, you know, they had their share of doing it in the rough areas and the impoverished areas in New York, in New York City, they started taking it to the South, where them kids even had less education, you know, than the hoodlums that was coming from the projects in New York City. And you go to the South and they're signed to anything. You could just tell them you're getting signed and they're signed to that.
That's real.
They don't have no understanding of what distribution is or what production is. They don't understand none of that. All they understand is the fact of, okay, I could be a loudmouth now and I'm gonna get some money. You know, when you're doing stuff for money all the time, you know, it comes with, you know, the BS. You know, so I made it my business. I wanted 2 houses before I even came out with a record. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's just the kind of person I was from the street. I wanted all my priorities in order. I'm not with the fronting and stunting. When you see me with something, that's mine, and you already know what it is. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So I put the work in. I have my own houses, my own Benzes, all that, everything you can think about. I had it before I even thought about going into the booth.
That's good right there too, man. And like, you know, a lot of things you see nowadays, you've seen a lot, like you mentioned before, you know, a lot of these artists, they don't know what certain things entail in the business aspect of the industry. So as a veteran and a legend, somebody that's been around for a long time and seen different things happen, how important would you emphasize to a lot of these younger artists coming up nowadays, how important it is to really learn the business? And for those who want to know the business, how can they learn more about it?
Well, what I tell them, you know, everybody, I run into a lot of people all the time, almost on a daily basis, and the conversation is the same. Yo, how can we do this? How can we do that? How can we do this? And I tell them the first thing you need to do is go to school for business. You know, they're in the hood. These little community colleges are free. So you walk in there, you tell them, listen, you know, if you want to be a millionaire, you tell them that. Listen, I want to make $1 million. You know, what do you have to do? Can you teach me, you know, that kind of thing? And that's what's missing. People don't reach for the help, you know what I'm saying? But if they understood business, if they learned business, you know what I mean? And they learn the concept of business, then they will understand what this game is really all about. They will understand why a record on the radio is called a commercial record. You understand? Mm-hmm. They will understand these different concepts. But they need to start somewhere. And it's like, you know, their mind can't go no further than a bunch of views on Instagram or Snapchat, or, you know, that's where their mind is. And that's perfect for somebody who's using them and abusing them. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. You don't want them to know nothing. You know what I mean? So I understand that philosophy and the type of people that, you know, pretty much get their money off that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking them, you do your thing. I don't know what their arrangements are, but our thing is different. You know what I mean? I have my own already. I'm financially stable already. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm bringing is love. When you hear my records, you're hearing talent, you're hearing freedom, and you're hearing love. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's nothing in it. Nobody offered me to do nothing. When you hear it, you believe me. I'm behind it. You understand? So I don't care if you're in Canada. This came from the love. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's different. And because it's different, it's going to hit different.
No doubt about that, man.
It's going to resonate different.
So with that being said, man, just how does it feel just to be able to look back and be able to say that, you know, everything that you've accomplished is your own. Everything that you have is your own, that you won't have no strings attached to you, that you can pretty much put out albums and music anytime you want to on your own dime and not having to worry about recouping from the labels or nothing like that.
That's right. That's right. That's the best feeling. That's the best feeling in the world, you know, and everybody's not going to be that fortunate. Mm-hmm. But if you're not that fortunate, you need to start working, and you start working to get somewhere. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, I had to build my own studio. I had to build my own video company. You know what I'm saying? I had to build these things from the ground up. I'm in an area where there really isn't too much professionalism when it comes to pro audio and recording and, you know, press and all that kind of stuff. That's something that normally happens a little more south in New York City, you know, that kind of area. But where I'm at, they're deprived of a lot of different angles and a lot of different benefits that if I lived in New York City again, I used to live in New York City for years, but if I lived back in New York City again, the outcome would be even bigger. Because, you know, I know all the resources. I have it all at my fingertips. And it's not that far away from where I'm at now. I'm still going to go down and hit the town if they know me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the advantage from where I'm at to New York City, that 2.5, 3 hour drive, you know what I'm saying? And me owning properties here, so I just can't pack up and leave and different things. You know, I had to build my own situation right here, right where I'm at.
That's a smart thing to do, man. And I always, to me, like, that's a different pride and a different feeling when you can look and say, I own this. Nobody else owns it for me. I'm not paying for it from somebody. I own it outright. You know, that's a different type of freedom.
When I own it, and when I own it, that's what I mean. I'm not talking about you see some of the entertainers in the Bentley, but it's leased. You know what I'm saying? Or these cars, they lease them every year, and they only can drive at certain times. You know the game, you know, and it's smart for business. It's show business. I understand that, but I don't like to play that game. You know what I'm saying? I never was like that. You know, if I can't afford it, I can't afford it. But whatever you see me with, it's mine. There ain't no leasing, ain't no strings attached, ain't gonna be no financing. You know what I mean? We bring that bag to the table and we buying it if we want it. You know what I'm saying? And that's my philosophy, and that's how, you know, that's the rules that I live by. So, you know, everything along that line came under the same principle. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. So, you know, with 2023, you know, getting into full swing now, we starting to hit into the, you know, the more warmer months and everything like that. What can we expect from you going forward, man? Are you looking to do any shows? Or?
Oh man, yeah. I got a show. April 8th up in Hudson, New York, up at Lawrence Park. There's a nice little spot up there in Hudson, New York on Warren Street. I got a joint there. I'm doing a talent show in May up in Troy, New York. I'm doing a talent showcase. And then from there, like I said, man, I'm independent right now. I'm solely independent right now. Not saying that, you know, if I had the opportunity to work smarter, that I wouldn't take it. Not saying that at all, but I'm just saying for right now, I'm doing a lot of things independent. So I'm pretty much booking my own shows for me and my artists all summer long. So one way or another, hopefully you guys hear from us, you know what I'm saying? Because this movement ain't never going to stop. You know, I should have did it in 2020, but they shut us down. Right. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I should have did it last year, but I knew it wasn't ready. But now, you know, like I said, it's a one step at a time process. But the process is not going to stop. Mm-hmm. And the thing that you're going to get from us is consistency and real artistry. You would need 20 of these artists that's out here to be able to, you know, perform on a level that I could perform on. Mm-hmm. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no competition as far as I'm concerned. You get what I'm saying? So that's a good thing when you're dealing with business. You know, that's one of the main things you focus on is, you know, all right, what are we bringing to the table? We bring Donz Moran. Everybody know what it is with him. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Now, what's the competition? Little to none.
No doubt.
Little to none. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. And my competition know me. So, you know, whenever you're dealing with, it's like you got a sneaker store and you're the only sneaker store in town, you're going to make a lot of money, especially if you have no competition. Mm-hmm. That's with anything you do. So that's one of the first rules of business is you assess what's going on. What are we doing? We're going to put some records? Let's put some records. Now's the time to go. Why? Because it's all garbage. Now you could come in there and reign. So let's take these steps one at a time. And everyone is going to gain more positioning. And at some point, they're going to get it. Whether it's now or later, they're going to catch on.
Now, one more question I want to ask you, you know, in closing, you know, we touched on a variety of different subjects and stuff like that throughout this conversation. And one thing I want to ask you now, as somebody that's been around and somebody that's been in the industry and in the business side of the music industry, would you still recommend, you know, artists to go after a deal, or would you more so recommend them to go an independent route?
I'm gonna tell you something that, you know, this is just from what I've learned. You know, uh-huh. I've had decent deals. I had decent deals, and then I know what it feels like to make deals and have to fight for your money. And I know what it feels like to think you're gonna get paid, you know, doing it independently with all these little internet distributors, and you know, I know all the gimmicks. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's possible to get a good deal if you understand what you're bringing to the table as far as business is concerned. For example, if I go to Sony and I know Sony lacks on production and I go there and bring in my best beats, the chances are I'm going to leave out of there with a deal. Mm-hmm. I know this already because any label I go to and I let them hear something, they offer me a deal. Now, is that deal going to be something that I could benefit from? Or is that deal something that a kid that's 18 years old with nothing living in the hood could benefit from? Mm-hmm. That's the difference. So you got to be careful of, you know, what you're in it for, and, you know, and why. You understand what I'm saying? So in some senses, it may make sense. Like I said, if somebody's starving, they ain't got no other way. And, you know, they're like a boxer, you know, they have nothing, so they just fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can get in there, you get a little popularity, and you can get a couple dollars if you know what you're doing with that popularity, and it might benefit them and take them to a next level for that time. Mm-hmm. So it might make sense. You know what I mean? I don't want to tell somebody to not analyze the situation properly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, and then you got some people that, you know, may have it all together already and say, listen, I want a label deal only. They say, well, we want to just sign you as an artist. And then that takes away from all of your other artists that you sign. It takes away from your freedom of your label, of you being able to drop when you feel like dropping and having that freedom to put out videos when you feel like it, and all this kind of thing. You might want to think twice, you know what I'm saying? So it all depends on how the deal is constructed and who you're moving with. A lot of times, if you can get a good deal going with a good company, you know, they'll keep the good deals coming, you know what I'm saying? But you got to know what you're bringing to the table. You got to know, you know, if this is even a good business arrangement. You know, you got to have a reason for being part of this company a lot of times, because people come and go. So if you can't be relevant, you know, in the eyes of the company that signed you, then that ain't going to last for so long. You get what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways it could be good or it could be bad. My advice is to learn business, because so that way you don't need a deal. Either way it goes, you'll be able to make a living with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So take a business course, 6 months or whatever, learn some business, you know what I mean? And that's my advice. And secondly, in the path of doing business, you know, don't leave no rock, you know, unturned. You get what I'm saying? Somebody's offering you a good thing because, you know, for example, you might be a good dude. You might say, man, I got a record label too, man. Come on, let us sign you to a 4-single deal and we'll give you X, Y, Z. I said, okay, if I need the money, boom, and I'll give you 4 singles and we can make it happen. You know, everybody's not a snake in the game, you know?
Right.
But 99.9% of the people, you know, when they sense that you don't know business or you don't know what you're talking about or you don't know what you're doing, that's when the devil horns come out. You know, they're going to take advantage of that. Oh, you only want a necklace? And I could give them one of these fake necklaces with all the moissanite in it, have them thinking it's diamonds because it's diamond tested. So they charge them $20,000-$30,000 for a chain. They only pay $400 for it.
Right.
And then they're making them pay. They're making them recoup it to the labels. Man. But this is what happens when you're dealing with people that don't know. They don't know nothing about diamonds. You understand? They don't know nothing about moissanite. You know, they have no knowledge of none of these things. You're dealing with the blind. And it's easy to persuade the blind, you know what I mean? And it's dangerous. We all see how dangerous it could be, you know? But for the most part, if you open your eyes a little bit and go get some education and some training, you let that be the guide, you know?
No doubt.
You let your business sense be the guide. What are we doing? What's involved? How much? What you gonna need from me? Can I make the deal happen? Can I fulfill the need? Okay, let's make it happen. You know what I mean? You know, you got to deal with things the way they are, because there's a bunch of promises and nobody likes to pay nobody nowadays. And it happens to the best. We've seen the best rappers get old millions and millions of dollars like nothing is to it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it don't just happen to the best. It can happen to anybody. Man. You know? So you got to be careful.
No doubt about that, man. Hey, listen, man, yo, this was a really dope discussion, man. I really do appreciate you, you know, coming through and dropping some knowledge on us and all that stuff like that, man. Kind of opened up my mind to a lot of things that I didn't know of as well, and kind of got me looking at things in a different light, man. So I definitely appreciate the information and stuff that you provided here as well, and also with sharing your story with us. And before we get ready to wrap it up, man, for anybody out there that would like to get in contact with you, and for anybody out there that would like to, you know, reach out to you and, you know, bring you onto your show, their show, or maybe, you know, even listen to some of your music and all that stuff, how can they make that possible?
Well, you can hit me up at Donz Moran, DONZ MORAN on Facebook, Donz Moran on Instagram. I got an artist page set up too. And that's pretty much it for right now. I probably have, I'm working on releasing a new album in the next couple of months called Firestarter. And it should be on all online platforms by June, the latest.
That's what's up, man. Any last words?
Now, if you need to contact me, you know, for anything urgent, some shows, performances and that, there's a number I can provide them with too. That's 518-416-6116.
No doubt, man. Once again, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. And for everybody else out there, keep it locked and stay tuned. It's your boy EMillio EgBar. We'll be back with much more right after this.
Billy Danze, MGM, VIP, yeah, level up and get left. Let's go. Hearing all about you, girl. First my love. Can't live without you, girl. You're always on my mind. Everything about you, girl. You'll always be on time. And this one's for you. Take it slow. Yeah, to say the least. I leave the phones turned off like we out of reach. I let that sun hit your skin like we on the beach. The whole time we hold hands like we on the streets. Yeah, I even kick down doors for you. Knock down the walls at the mall for you. Hit the jewelry stores, grab it all for you. Any kind of drama, go to war for you. That's right. Look, I'm beast mode. The king's home, the whole throne is like a meat bone. On position down court for the free throw. So when I hit my shot, heads crack like a CeeLo. I was on the Heat show. Hands down, there's no equal. I still like to scroll through your story on your peoples. My shit street froze. In the hood, I'm like Guido. Still make it dark outside when I let the heat blow. I let the heat blow. Hearing all about you, girl. First my love. Can't live without you, girl. You're always on my mind. Everything about you, girl. You'll always be on time. And this one's for you. Take it slow. Yeah, you lose control when we reach home. Putting numbers in my phone, I'm like 3 zones. Putting muscle in the channel, I'm like Pete Rose. No discussion on the ground, it's the G code. There's no shit in the bag, catch it. Ain't no telling how it flip when the boy stretch it. I got apps on my phone, you cannot connect it. All across the board, you can get the message. I sit low when I'm out flexing. Anything you see me with is without question. Anything you see me drive is a no-brainer. Military personnel, they be on retainer. Yeah, I'm the big drip. I'm the one they talking about on the big ships. I'm the one they dancing around on the speedboat.